The thing that you recognize in Peter before anything else is his infectious, joyous laugh. He is a great scientist, a great organizer, a great leader of people.
There's a lot of smart people in biology, and but even among them, Peter is very smart. He has an incredible ability to focus on the important things. And also he makes science fun.
I can't think of one individual that I actually learned more from. His curiosity and his passion for research and his commitment to improving human life through the development of new therapies was just so motivating and inspiring.
I grew up mostly in Ridgewood, New Jersey, northern New Jersey. And when I was in junior high school, my mother became a single parent of both me and my younger sister. There were really some pretty significant financial struggles that we went through as a family. I worked at Roy Rogers, flipping hamburgers and making roast beef sandwiches. In high school, I had a knack, or at least an interest and aptitude in math and science. Fortunately, not only did I get into Cornell, but Cornell gave me this incredible financial aid package. I look at schools that are able to provide financial aid packages to students in need with great admiration, because I think it really does open up doors for people that wouldn't otherwise be able to do so. Although I had originally thought that I was going to go to medical school, I decided to apply to MD, PhD programs instead of straight MD programs, and that led to me coming to Stanford ultimately. This was completely a new experience for me when I came to Stanford, and I had just never seen anything like it before. I had never seen the quality of the science. I had never seen the quality of the students. Arthur Kornberg was going strong and had a research group that was just continuing to push the frontiers of DNA replication. I was there when Paul Berg won the Nobel Prize, and I remember the champagne celebration that we had out on the balcony there. When I came to Stanford, I decided to work with Buzz Baldwin, Robert L. Baldwin. Buzz was really one of the very top people in the field of protein folding, that is, understanding how it is that the amino acid sequence of a protein determines its final three-dimensional structure. I decided to apply to become a Whitehead Fellow. It was the very early days of the Whitehead Fellow program. The first director was David Baltimore.
Paul Berg, who was a good friend of mine, suggested to me that Peter might be the right person to start out this fellows program. His goal in life was to be part of a revolution that was occurring to calculate the structures of proteins from their sequence.
But very quickly, within a couple of years, he hit on his first success, which was a problem protein folding and design, and then the second one, the so-called leucine zipper, which got a lot of prominence.
He turned to viruses. I think because that was a little bit of the residue of his wanting to be an MD. He was interested in problems that had a direct medical relevance.
One thing I remember is that David, who is just an incredible scientist and leader, very quickly became an important mentor in my life.
He saw early on that we were going to need an HIV vaccine, and that the characteristics of HIV did not lend itself to being the substrate for making a vaccine in any simple way.
Peter was, I think, very good at attracting energetic, smart people, but then he also gave them a lot of agency. He trusted people. He expected you to be the expert in your project, to own it, and to be leading it.
When I got down to Merck, it was clear that the scientists in MRL, Merck Research Laboratories, were convinced that Ed Skolnick had gone completely off the deep end and was bringing in somebody who had never run anything larger than a small academic lab.
Peter really, I think, was responsible for changing the entire culture of a 10,000 plus organization. He brought enthusiasm and energy to every one of the meetings that he stepped into because he asked probing questions. And by the time the drugs were actually in front of the FDA for review, the organization was very well prepared to answer just about every question that was posed to them because of Peter's participation in those meetings. There were 4 major vaccines that were approved during Peter Kim's tenure as president of Merck Research Laboratories. One of the ones that was really the most important would be Gardasil.
Every year, over 500,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer, and half of them die from it. It's a terrible disease. It strikes women in the prime of their life. Cervical cancer is caused by infection of a virus called HPV, human papillomavirus. Against those 4 types of HPV, Gardasil was almost 100% effective. It was remarkable. I remember the day when Gardasil got approved by the FDA. And I tell you, every person in the company, from the CEO all the way down to the janitors, had an extra skip in their step.
Peter really actively encouraged Merck to develop expertise in biologics. And I think we see the outcome of that 10 years later in Keytruda, which is a groundbreaking therapy for oncology and basically the cornerstone for almost every treatment today.
I told the CEO when I turned 55, man, I'm out of here. And it was great. I would do it again in a heartbeat, but it was intense. And I wanted to actually have a 3rd chapter in my life where I could go back and do something different.
He wanted to go back and really build a lab focused on some of the things he cared most about, including HIV and vaccines for HIV.
It's really great to be able to come back to Stanford and to be in the biochemistry department. It's great to be able to go to talks and meetings with Paul Berg. I still see Dave Hogness and Bob Lehman, Buzz, but to have them around, still in the department, and to have my new colleagues in biochemistry has just been tremendous.
His true passion, his eyes lit up, his energy level increased whenever he talked to research scientists, whenever he participated in active dialogue and debate about research problems, and I couldn't be happier for him and his family in the career that he chose at Stanford.
He has that sort of craftsmanship of science that was a real characteristic of Berg and Kornberg. That this idea that you did things right and you did things elegantly and you thought carefully.
The Kornberg-Berg Award emphasizes the critical importance of biochemistry to the development of modern biology. To have an award in their name really underlines Peter's involvement in biochemistry. So I think it's a very appropriate award for Peter to get.